Royal Crown is going to town with... Big Orchestra! Butlers and neighborhood stores who serve you Royal Crown Cola present Bob Ripley with more of his amazing Believe It or Not, B.A. Rolfe and his orchestra, and lovely Linda Lee. And here is Ted Jewett. Why should the taste of any cola be preferred in 5 out of 6 taste tests from coast to coast? Well, the only cola I can answer for is Royal Crown, because Royal Crown is the only cola that has won 5 out of 6 impartial certified nationwide taste tests. Even then, it's hard to say why Royal Crown Cola won, because the thousands of people who took these tests were not asked to give any reasons. They were simply asked to vote for the cola that tasted best to them. So the answer is that Royal Crown won because it was the cola that tasted best to most folks. So when we invite you to stop, think, and drink Royal Crown Cola, we promise that you will get not only the cola that folks like best, but also 2 full glasses from every big 5-cent bottle. And here is that rambling, rip-roaring, regenerating, rousing, rhythmic raja of pregnant, robust realities. Believe it or not, Bob Ripley. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the program. Tonight I shall present 2 Believe It or Not personalities, a woman with the most unusual nose in the world, a real weather sniffer, and a man who's made you laugh for years, Colonel Lemuel Q. Stoopnagel. And now for a real Believe It or Not drama that I think rivals anything the great master of stories, Edgar Allan Poe, ever wrote. I am sure that everyone who has been in Paris has visited the famous Louvre, that great museum of art which covers 48 acres in the heart of the French capital. The history of this remarkable old building is varied and interesting. Although it has 33 miles of galleries and corridors and has been building for 300 years, it is still unfinished. 12 kings of France lived and died in it, and it was here that Napoleon was married and spent his honeymoon. It has also witnessed sadness and tragedy. A gallows once stood in the entrance hall, and there 42 Huguenots were hanged on the scaffold. Its collection of art is priceless, although it has been appraised at 110 billion gold francs, or 3 times as much gold as the United States has buried in the ground at Fort Knox, Kentucky. It's to this great art gallery that I now take you for what I think is the most astounding true drama. The time, 1908. The place, the office of Monsieur Michel, the director of the Department of Modern Sculpture of the Louvre. Monsieur Michel has summoned all the guards of his department and speaks to them.
Gentlemen, I have called you here for a very important reason. The chief physician of the insane asylum at Neuilly has just phoned me that one of his most dangerous inmates has escaped from the asylum.
Dangerous lunatic escape, Monsieur le Directeur?
Oui. It is probable that he will come to our department sometime this morning.
Why to our department, Monsieur le Directeur?
He is a former sculptor, and our sculpture department is his chief obsession.
What is his description?
His name is Fauville. He is about 45 years old, over 6 feet tall, a Corsican, and he wears no hat. There is, of course, the look of the insane in his eyes.
This man can be dangerous, monsieur.
Exactly. That is why there will be gendarmes placed at all the entrances of the building. If any one of you should observe a man answering this description, he should be captured at all costs and taken to the court of the museum. Now, is everything clear?
Oui, Monsieur le Directeur.
Then go back to your post and keep a sharp eye. And remember, this man is a dangerous maniac. You must act with caution.
Le Chassepin, you seen anything yet?
No, and I have walked to the Salle Couture. Then I went to... Wait a minute. I think I see it. The crazy one. There, see. At the statue of La Vierge.
He is mad. Look, he is caressing the statue. He is hugging and kissing it.
We must be very quiet. Easy now and forward. We must surprise him.
Slowly now.
Oh, my beloved. They took me away from you, but I have come back.
He is making love to the statue.
My angel, my own, I have come back to you. Back to you.
Now, grab him, quick! Quick, please, empty side.
Don't go! We got you!
No, you have not got me. You will never take me away from my statue.
Look away! Stop him!
You cannot take me away from my beloved.
Grab his arms! He is going to knock the statue over. Stop him!
If I cannot have her, nobody will have her.
Statue of La Pierre. Knock it over. Completely shattered. Never mind the statue now. Let's get this man handcuffed. Down to the office.
Down to the office. No, leave me here with my beloved. I can see her now.
Poor fellow. He's quiet now.
Look. He's breaking it apart.
Oh, my beloved. We shall be together now, beloved.
Look, de Chasselin. That statue. Great heavens. Inside that statue.
It is. Good bon Dieu, mercy on us. It is a woman. A dead woman.
But she is my beloved. She was the great love of my life, you see. I killed her because I loved her.
You killed this woman?
Yes. I did not want anyone ever to take her away from me. I want her to be imperishable. So I encased her in a statue so beautiful that all the world has worshipped her immortal beauty. No, don't take me away from my beloved. Let me stay beside my beloved.
And that was the weird drama enacted within the ancient walls of the Louvre. An escaped maniac, while being pursued by guards, knocked over a famous statue and shattered it. Inside was revealed the perfectly preserved body of his sweetheart, whom in a jealous rage he had murdered 10 years before, and encased in a statue so beautiful that it was recognized as one of the world's masterpieces. Ladies and gentlemen, for authentication, I refer you to the history of the Louvre and to Monsieur Michel, the director, who is still alive, and to the guard de Chasselin, who apprehended the maniac, who is also alive and still working as a guard in the Louvre. Believe it or not. And now it's time for the Believe It or Not musical division. What's on tonight, my benevolent blimp?
Blimp. Bob, you grieve me. Always casting aspersions on my delicate contour.
Oh, B.A., but didn't I see you floating down Broadway in the Thanksgiving Day parade yesterday?
Oh, honest, Bob, that wasn't me.
All right, then it was a blimp. But tell us, what's the music tonight?
Why, we're flying down to Rio.
Flying down to Rio. Okay, B.A.
Bob, what has your letters from listeners department turned up this week?
Well, a letter which makes me wish we had television so that I could show it to every one of our listeners.
Yes?
But, Ted, why don't you explain what you mean by letters from listeners department?
Well, here's the story. Each week on this program, Bob Ripley makes this Believe It or Not offer. Try a bottle of Royal Crown and a bottle of any other cola. Unless you honestly prefer Royal Crown Cola, both drinks are on Bob. Simply send the 2 bottle caps and a letter of explanation to Bob Ripley, Columbus, Georgia, and the price of both bottles, 10 cents, will be refunded.
And every week since that offer was first made, letters have been coming in, not asking for dimes, but sending me money for telling folks about Royal Crown Cola. Believe it or not, Ted. Now, here's another typical letter which I wish I could show you all. It's from Mrs. Howard Oren of 7017 Barbary Street, Jacksonville, Florida. On a blue piece of notepaper, 2 bottle caps have been attached with cross strips of black tape. Also attached in the same way is a dime. Now, here's what Mrs. Oren says.
Yeah?
Mr. Ripley, turnabout is fair play. You win. Well, thank you, Mrs. Oren. You are a good sport to send me a dime because you really were convinced that Royal Crown Cola is best tasting. And now I invite everyone listening in to make a test of Royal Crown and any other cola at my risk, believe it or not. We've all heard of the clown who wants to play Hamlet. And I suppose that most of us at some time or other would like to change our profession and enter what seems to us a more colorful line of activity. The believe it or not, I'm going to present now illustrates this human yearning. The time, October the 10th, 1930, the place, radio station, WMAK in Buffalo, New York. The announcer is ready to go on the air when one of the officials rushes in.
Say, Bud.
Yeah?
The network wires have failed. You'll have to ad-lib the next 15 minutes.
Gosh, 2 minutes to airtime. Well,
What'll I talk about? Anything. Just make it up as you go along.
but I can't do it alone.
Wait. I'll get that fellow I was just talking to. He's in the reception room. He's nuts about radio, and since the stock market crash, he's been pestering us to death. He used to be a broker.
I don't know what a stockbroker could do in a spot like this, but, well, send him in.
All right. Say, you, come here.
You mean me?
Yes, you. You wanted a chance to go on the air? This is it. What can you do?
Well, I don't know. I can play an organ a little.
Well, all right, there's an organ. When I signal, play. All right, stand by. 30 seconds to go. Say, what's your name?
Taylor. F. Chase Taylor.
Oh, no. That's no good. It's got to be something different, something funny. Take one up as you go along, will you? Oh, wait a minute. You're on the air. Play.
And that's how it all started. A man named F. Chase Taylor, who lost out as a stockbroker during the Wall Street crash, went into radio with no previous background or experience and became the comedian that you today as Colonel Lemuel Hugh Stoopnagle. And here he is, Colonel Snagle.
Hiya, Bob.
Well, Colonel Stoopnagle, since you've stepped right out of the brokerage business into radio, I rather assume it was tough going in the early days.
Well, yes, it was, Bob, in a way. And, I had freelance for a few years. And by free, I mean without any pay. Still, I was constantly racking my alleged mind for something new character situations. And out of this thinking, there evolved a strange person known as Mr. Bop, spelled O-double-P.
Well, that name sounds like a comic strip character being hit on the head, Pop.
Well, that's exactly where I got the name from, strangely. Except that I happened to give Mr. Bop 2 P's in his name instead of 1. It seemed more dignified. But Mr. Bop was anything but dignified.
Well, Colonel, I know our audience would like to hear you as your boisterous, baffling character, Mr. Bop.
All right, Bob, if you'll be my straight man, I'll be my Mr. Bop, just to show you how he sounds. Don't forget, you asked for it. Anything can happen to your show from here in. Now, I'll go out.
Okay, exit, Nagel, and enter Mr. Bop. Come in.
Hiya, Mr. Ripley! I suppose you're believing it or not all over the place again. I'll say so, 1, 2, 3. What I've been doing this afternoon, though, is more fun and stuff than anything you ever did, Mr. Believe It or Ripley.
What'd you say?
Why, I can say stuff forward or backward, upside down, or any other way. Makes no difference to me. Go ahead, ask me what to do it. Hurry up, I'm a killer. I'm a fox. I'm a weather sniffer. I sniff the elephants. The elements. Go ahead. Mr. Ripley, ask me what devilment I've been up to this afternoon.
All right, Mr. Bop. Then what devilment have you been up to this afternoon?
Ask me that for.
Let's start it up.
You know where I've been, Mr. Ripley? I just went over to your club.
Over to my club?
Yeah.
Well, how did you get in?
I told him I was a plumber and came to fix the joint. You get it, Ripley? Plumber, joint, some funny stuff, believe me. Then I went upstairs where the shower baths are in your club. Way upstairs I went up there.
Oh, you mean to take a shower?
Take a shower, nothing. I had a better idea than that. I waited till the attendant was out of the way, and I ran quick and switched the shower handle.
You mean you put the hot where the cold should be and the cold where the hot should be?
Yeah, you catch on quick. Wasn't that the nut? And then I hid behind the locker and waited. And pretty soon a big fat guy named Rie Balk came in. Came off
That was a blimp.
to take a shower. Came along to take a shower, and he walked into that shower room, slapped himself a couple of whacks on the chest, and turned the cold water handle. Boy, was he burned up. Stop picking, Daddy. Don't believe me. 1, 2, 3. I'll tell you if it is.
Oh, Bob, you're worse than that turkey we had on the program last week.
Yeah, I've had a turkey on my own program.
Well, he gave me a digestion. Every time I look at you, I get a digestion, too. Say,
You
Bob.
don't make me feel good.
Listen, Bob. You just spell that with an F-L and then 2 P's. But why do you go around making people so uncomfortable all the time?
Well, it's a lot of fun. Everybody has a yet to do stuff like I do, but they haven't got the nerve to do it. Oh, there's something else that's fun, too. No, I do. I go to theaters when mystery plays are going on.
Oh, you like to watch mystery plays, do you?
Nah, but it's fun what I do. Right in the middle of the play, I run up and down the aisle yelling, I'll tell you who shot the guy. I saw this play last night. Hey, all you people in the theater, you see that dear little old lady over there sitting in the corner? She ain't no old lady at all. She's a man dressed in women's clothes. And know who he is? Buck-toothed Louie the Joint. Then I run out of the theater. Boy, I tell you, there's nothing like making people uncomfortable, believe me. No sentence. But the best part of all...
I like the old sentence the best.
But the best part of all is when I used to get into the cab of a railroad engine and toss the engineer out when the train was standing in the station.
Oh, you tossed the engineer out of his cab, huh?
Yeah, then I grabbed the throttle, and when I was sure nearly everybody was asleep in their side, back into the locomotive into the train with a bang, and people had fallen out of their beds. Boy, it was fun, so fun, believe me, I'll say with the
Well, didn't anyone ever get mad at you for that?
Ah, they laughed. I had them all in the aisles.
Everybody?
Yeah, that's all but one guy.
Oh, all but one, I see.
Yeah, there was one guy I never could shave it up at first.
And why not?
You always slept in that little hammock. Well, I gotta be going, bye, Mr. Ripley. But goodbye, but when you get out there and see your overcoat?
What do you mean, my overcoat? What'd you put in a Bime Tom? I'll be doing it.
When you get out there, you'll see.
Well, I'm not going out there if that fixed anymore.
Listen, you may think that's a time bomb, but that thing that's sticking in your coat pocket ain't no alarm clock. Well, goodbye, some peachy daddy, believe me, put out, say what's the coat?
Well, Colonel, come back here. I should think you would hardly have any voice left after all that yelling as Mr. Bob.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's terrible, but somehow, Bob, people seem to take to the Bob character because he actually did what everyone secretly would like to do but doesn't have the nerve. One of these days, I'm hoping that Mr. Bob will consent to become a contestant on one of my current series of Sunday Quixie Doodle shows. And, Bob, because of Mr. Bob, I have a believe it or not for you.
What, Mr. Quixie Doodle?
Well, it happened a week after the fateful night back in 1931 when Mr. Bob came in.
Yes.
Columbia received a sheaf of letters from one of the large eastern railroads saying that 2 so-called comedians in the course of one broadcast were trying to ruin $1 million worth of friendship this railroad had made in educating the comforts of Pullman travel.
Well, didn't they realize that what you said was just fun, Colonel?
No, Bob, at first they threatened to do dire things, but eventually they came around to saying all would be forgiven if we agreed to change the direction of Mr. Bob's practical jokes. But the believe it or not in the story came later, when we discovered that the man in charge of Pullman relations for that railroad was actually a Mr. Bop spelled B-O-P-P.
Well, so the character you had created as public nuisance number 1, Mr. Bop, got you in trouble for in real life there was actually a man working for the railroad whose name was Mr. Bop. Well, that is a believe it or not, Colonel. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard from Chase Taylor, who, when the Wall Street crash came, gave up his brokerage business, and though he had never done anything like it before, became Colonel Lemuel Q. Stoopnagel, one of the nation's favorite comedians, believe it or not. And now it's Linda Lee time.
And tonight, Bob, a modern version of an ancient Irish melody. It's called A Pretty Girl Milking Her Cow.
All right, Linda, start your lovely lyrics. A pretty girl milking her cow.
'Twas on a bright morning in summer when I first heard his voice speak in low, as he said to the collie beside him, who's that pretty girl milking her cow? After many times often he met me and said that I should be your darling Akushla Alana Mavoni La Foolish McQueen. Pretty girl, with no one there to show her how. The pretty girl is now milking her cow. Now I have not the manners or graces of the girls in the world where ye move, and I have not their beautiful faces, but oh, I've a heart that can love. And if it please ye, I'll dress me in satin with jewels in me bow. Well, don't be after forgetting your pretty girl milking her cow. Pretty girl, pretty cow. I bet this song would have never been wrote if the pretty girl had have been milking her goat, but the goat wasn't feeling well anyhow, so the pretty girl was milking her cow. Her cow, her cow, la 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 cow, la 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 la. Pretty girl milking her cow.
When Bob Ripley invites you to try Royal Crown Cola and any other cola and says, both drinks are on me unless you honestly prefer Royal Crown, well, he means just that. So try a bottle of Royal Crown and a bottle of any other cola tonight or tomorrow. Unless you honestly prefer Royal Crown, send the 2 bottle caps and a letter of explanation to Bob Ripley, Columbus, Georgia, and the price of both colas, 10 cents, will be refunded. Now, if you know Royal Crown's outstanding flavor and its generous 2-glass bottle, then next time you go to town, get yourself a carton of Royal Crown. 6 big bottles for $0.25. The makers of Royal Crown Cola, Knee-High Corporation, Columbus, Georgia, are also makers of the famous Party Pack and Knee-High beverages.
Bob?
Yes, Linda?
What's on the program for next week?
Linda, it will be a great pleasure to present as my special guest one of the world's foremost novelists and playwrights, Somerset Maugham, and believe it or not, about his romantic writing career. And in addition, we will have, by popular demand, a return visit from the Dartmouth College Glee Club, and there will be no fifth down this time. Today is a real believe it or not Friday. You see, it comes after Thanksgiving and also before Thanksgiving. But whichever Thursday that you celebrate, or both, we of Royal Crown Cola sincerely wish you have all the things you want to be thankful for. And now I think it altogether fitting in conclusion to quote from the original prayer of thanksgiving as pronounced by Governor Bradford of Massachusetts in 1621 on the occasion of the first Thanksgiving in the New World. We give thee thanks, O Lord, for the fruits of the earth and the blessings of thy merciful providence. Pray, bless us in all our increase and in all the work of our hands, and let us be altogether joyful. Amen.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.